Hi students, in today's video we are going to start with a new topic, polymers. Polymers are giant molecules having very high molecular masses. We have seen a lot of molecules, for example carbon dioxide, ammonia, glucose, and what are the molecular masses of these compounds? For example, for carbon dioxide the molecular mass is 44 gram. For glucose it is 180 gram. So like this, polymers, they have molecular masses as high as 50,000 or even more. So you can imagine how big or giant these molecules of polymers are. Such molecules occur in nature and can also be synthesized in the lab, which means polymers, they occur in nature also, and we can also prepare them in the lab. Common examples of naturally occurring polymers are cellulose, starch, proteins, rubber, resins. All these are examples of naturally occurring polymers. These polymers, they find a variety of applications in our routine life. Besides the natural polymers, we have a wide range of synthetic polymers which have become a part of our day-to-day life. For example, nylons, terylene, Orlon, all these are synthetic polymers and are used for making clothes, ropes, nets, etc. And plastics and synthetic resins, for example, polythene, Teflon, Styrene, polyvinyl chloride, which is commonly called as PVC, and you would have heard about PVC pipes. All these find a variety of applications in our life. In fact, polymers find a wide range of uses starting from common household articles, automobiles, clothes, furniture, etc. to spacecraft and biomedical and surgical operations. It will not be an exaggeration to say that the age in which we live today is the age of polymers, because we cannot think of the smooth running of life without polymers. So now let's learn about these polymers and what are the different types of polymers and how these polymers are prepared and what are the uses of these polymers. So to begin with, what is a polymer? A polymer is a large molecule of very high molecular mass formed by the repeated combination of a very large number of one or more types of small molecules called monomers. So how do you get a polymer? How a polymer is formed? It is formed by the repeated combination of a very large number of one or more types of small molecules. We call that small molecules as monomers. So what are monomers? The repeating unit in a polymer molecule. And the process by which the monomer molecules combine together to form a polymer is called polymerization. To understand this monomer and polymer, let's take an example. I just have this sketch pen caps. See, look at these caps. Consider these as monomers. I have 5 monomers. When all these monomers join together to form a very large molecule like this, now this is a polymer. This is a monomer and this is another monomer, and together I have 4 monomers, and all these monomers join together to form a chain or a large molecule. Now this is called as a polymer, and this monomer is the repeating unit in this molecule of polymer. So this is a polymer, and this polymer, which is the repeating unit, this monomer. So what is a monomer? It is the repeating unit in a polymer molecule. So now let's take an example of the polymer polyethylene. So it is obtained by the chemical combination of a large number of ethylene molecules. You know what is ethylene? Ethylene is also called as ethene, and the formula is CH2 double bond CH2. Now I am taking n number of ethylene molecules. N number means it can be hundreds to 200s or any large number of ethylene molecules. So consider this as the ethylene molecule. This is 1 ethylene molecule, 2 ethylene molecule, 3 ethylene molecule and 4 ethylene molecules. What will happen? These ethylene molecules, individual molecules, will undergo polymerization to give you polyethylene. Now what happens? the bond from here will go here, so you will get a single bond, and another ethylene will join there. Again the double bond from that ethylene will again move to form a bond. So it forms a very large molecule. So now take this as the ethylene, and this ethylene joins with another molecule of ethylene with a single bond, and again with another ethylene, and again with another ethylene. So this is what? Polyethylene. So you can write this as CH2 bond CH2 n times, because in this polymer, this is the repeating unit. So you are taking n number of ethylene molecule and you are forming this n times. Note the difference. N number means individual. See, 4 molecule of ethylene means 1, 2, 3, 4. When I write 4 times of ethylene, now this is ethylene 4 times. So this is a polythene and the individual molecule is ethylene. So hope you understood the difference between a monomer and a polymer. So the process of this monomer combining together to form a large polymer is called as polymerization. When we defined a polymer, we said it is a large molecule which is formed by the repeated combination of monomers. So when we say a repeat unit, the structural unit which on repetition gives the entire chain of a polymer molecule, and that is called as a repeat unit of the polymer. So when we took the example of ethylene and we prepared polyethylene from that ethylene, what was the repeat unit in the polyethylene? The CH2 bond CH2. So in the entire chain, this will be repeated n times to get the polymer. So this is called as the repeat unit in the polyethylene. So polyethylene can be represented as this repeat unit repeated n times. So you put a n here. So here we are taking just one type of monomer and we prepared a polymer, and we have just one repeat unit. Now when the polymer is derived or prepared from different monomers, which means more than one type of monomer, the repeat unit is derived from the different types of monomer molecules. For example, in the previous example where we took ethylene to form polyethylene, I told you this is the monomer, which is the ethylene. So I have three pieces of monomers, so they join together to give you polyethylene. So this is the repeat unit. Now for example, I am taking two different monomers. Now see, this is a bigger cap and this is a smaller cap. So I am taking two different monomers, and I am taking 3 of this monomers and 3 of this monomers. Okay. So these two different monomers are going to join to give you the polymer. So now see, this is the monomer, the bigger one, this is the smaller one. So this is joining, and again a bigger one is joining, and then a smaller one is joining. So I am getting a polymer like this. Now here, what is the repeat unit? This is the repeat unit. See, this part from one monomer and this part from another monomer will be repeated in the entire polymer. So when the polymer is prepared from different monomers, which means more than one type, the repeat unit is derived from the different types of monomer molecules. Now let's take an example here. Formation of nylon 66 from two different monomers, adipic acid and hexamethylene diamine. So this is hexamethylene diamine. See, you have 6 times methylene part. This is methylene. So hexamethylene, 2 amine groups are there, diamine plus adipic acid. The formula for adipic acid, see, just like methylene group, you have CH2 but 4 times and 2 COOH group. So this is adipic acid. So when these two monomers are taken n times, so see, put n here and n here, and when they join together to form a polymer, remember this part will join here by a removal of a molecule of water. So H from here, OH from here will go out. So if H goes from here, you get just NH, that is written here, and OH goes here, you get CO here. So that CO is written as C double bond O. So these two molecules will be joined together. See, this CH2 is there. Instead of NH2, you have written NH because one H and one OH from here has gone out as water. So C double bond O bond this CH2 4 times, and again C double bond O. Again on this side, if you put one more molecule of hexamethylene diamine, again a water molecule will go from this COOH and the neighboring NH2. So again you will have C double bond O bond. So this side also, if you put one more molecule of adipic acid, again you will get. So this part is the repeat unit. See, this entire part, this half is from hexamethylene diamine, this half is from the adipic acid. So in the entire nylon 6,6, this is the repeat unit and this will be repeated n times. You get nylon 66. So when you take single type of monomer, this is how you get the repeat unit. When you take two or more type of monomers, then the polymers will be derived from the repeat units will be derived from that two or more monomers. Hope you understood what are polymers. Now we will move on to the classification of polymers. Polymers can be classified in several ways. Some important ways of classifying polymers are classification of polymers on the basis of the source of availability, which means from where you get that polymer. And the second way is classification of polymers on the basis of the structure, which means the structure of the polymer. Based on that, you can classify polymers into three types. Based on the source of availability, you can classify polymers into three types. And the next classification is based on the nature of repeating structural unit. Now I have showed you two types of structural repeated units. One from one type of monomer, the other one from two or more types of monomer. So based on that nature of repeating structural unit, you can classify polymers into two types. And then classification of polymers on the basis of mode of polymerization, the process, how the process is happening to prepare a polymer. So based on that, you can classify the polymers into two types. And the last classification is based on the molecular forces between the polymer molecules. So these are the different ways of classifying the polymers. Now let's see one by one. The first classification of polymers is based on the source of availability. Depending upon the source of availability, polymers can broadly be classified into three classes: natural polymers, semi-synthetic polymers and synthetic polymers. First, natural polymers. The polymers which occur in nature are called natural polymers. So such polymers will have their origin in plants and animals. For example, starch, cellulose, proteins, nucleic acids and rubber, all these are examples of natural polymers. As you know, starch is the main food reserve of plants, and cellulose, it is the main structural material of plants, and proteins, they act as building blocks in animals. So all these are having their source in nature, which means from plants and animals. So we call these polymers as natural polymers. Next one is semi-synthetic polymers. These semi-synthetic polymers are mostly derived from naturally occurring polymers by chemical modification. So they are not purely natural, they are semi-synthetic, because we are going to use some chemical modification to the naturally occurring polymers to prepare these types of semi-synthetic polymers. Example of this semi-synthetic polymer is cellulose diacetate. It is obtained from cellulose, which is a natural polymer, by acetylation with acetic anhydride in the presence of sulfuric acid. So you are taking a naturally occurring polymer and you are doing some chemical modification to get this polymer. What polymer? Cellulose diacetate. So this is a semi-synthetic polymers. Other examples of semi-synthetic polymers are gun cotton, vulcanized rubber. And the third type of polymer based on source of availability is synthetic polymers. The polymers which are synthesized in the lab, they are called as synthetic polymers. Examples of these polymers are polystyrene, polyvinyl chloride, bakelite, nylon, synthetic rubbers, all these are examples. These synthetic polymers are man-made polymers and they find a variety of applications in our day-to-day life. So remember, based on the source of availability, we have classified polymers into three types: natural polymers, semi-synthetic polymers and synthetic polymers. The next classification of polymer is on the basis of structure, which means the structure of the polymers. Based on that, you can classify polymers into linear polymer, branched chain polymer, cross-linked polymer. So the first one, linear polymer. The polymers in which the constituent monomeric units are joined together to form long straight chain are called linear polymer. So you know how to make a polymer. You have to take monomers and join them together. So in linear polymer, the monomeric units are joined together to form long straight chains. See, you have these kind of chains. We call this type of polymers as linear polymers. And in linear polymer, the polymeric chains usually stack one over another like this and form a well packed structure. Due to this close packing of polymeric chains, linear polymers have high densities, high tensile strength and high melting point. A very good example of linear polymer is high density polythene, which we will be learning when we learn about important polymers. So, linear polymer, the monomeric units are joined together to form long straight chains, and an example is high density polythene. And the next type of polymer is branched chain polymers. The polymers which consist of side chains attached to the main chain, they are called as branched chain polymer. See, this is the main chain and to that we have branches. This type of polymer is called as branched chain polymer. So due to this branching, branched chain polymer molecules are unable to pack themselves in a compact manner like this. This cannot be packed like this because of this branching. They are usually irregularly packed. So this is the reason why branched chain polymers have low densities, low melting point and low tensile strength. And again, an example of branched chain polymer is low density polythene. Here the example is high density polythene. For branched chain polymers, the example is low density polythene. And the last type of polymer based on the structure is cross-linked polymers. The polymers in which the adjacent polymeric chains link together through side chains to form a three-dimensional network. See, we have the polymers in which the adjacent polymeric chains, see these are the polymeric chain, and if you have one more chain like this, the polymeric chain will be linked through the side chains like this, so that you could get a network, a three-dimensional network structure, and such polymers are called as cross-linked polymers, and they are also referred as network polymers. Due to the presence of cross-links, these polymers are hard, rigid and brittle. Very important examples of these cross-linked polymers are bakelite, urea formaldehyde resin, melamine formaldehyde resins. We will be seeing about all these polymer preparation in the later part of the lesson. Here when we say hard, rigid and brittle, it will be hard, but at the same time you can break it, it will be brittle. For example, if you take biscuits, they seem to be hard, but it is brittle. So just like that, cross-linked polymers are hard, rigid, at the same time they are brittle due to this network structure. Now the third classification of polymers is based on the nature of repeating structural units. Based on that, you can classify polymers into homopolymer and copolymer. First one, homopolymer. As I told you already, the repeating units are derived from only one type of monomer. We can take the same example, ethylene. See, we are taking ethylene and you are preparing polyethylene. So what is the repeating unit here? It is derived only from the one type of monomer. That type of polymer is called as homopolymer. Homo means single or same. And the next one, copolymer. Repeating units are derived from two or more types of monomer units. Previously we have taken the example of nylon 66 from which is prepared from hexamethylene diamine and adipic acid. So the repeating units were derived from two monomers. What are the two monomers? Hexamethylene diamine and adipic acid. Same way here we are taking the example of butadiene and styrene. See, but means 4 carbon atoms, 1, 2, 3, 4. Di means 2, ene means double bond. We have 2 double bonds here. So we call this as butadiene and this is styrene. So now we have 2 different monomers. So this is the repeating unit. So this repeating unit is derived from these 2 monomers. So we call this polymer which has repeating units derived from 2 or more types of monomers, it's called as copolymer. Now see CH2 and this double bond goes here, this double bond comes here, so it joins with this CH2 and again this double bond goes out. This Ce6H5 will be written at this branch. I will explain all this when we prepare these individual polymers. So butadiene with styrene gives you a polymer which is named as BuNaS. It is a synthetic rubber. So on the nature of repeating structural unit, polymers are classified into two types, homopolymer and copolymer. Now the classification of polymer based on the mode of polymerization. We can classify on the basis of mode of polymerization. When we say mode of polymerization, we know polymers are formed as a result of polymerization. That is the chemical combination of a large number of monomer molecules. It can proceed through two different ways. One is addition polymerization, the other one is condensation polymerization. So the result of addition polymerization, that polymer is called as addition polymer, and the polymer that you get as a result of condensation polymerization is called as condensation polymer. So you are classifying this polymers on the basis of mode of polymerization. So first one, addition polymer. Large number of monomer molecules add up to form the polymer. So they simply add on. We have seen this example already, ethene. So if you have ethene, I'll show you how this ethene adds on. Now look here, these are the monomers. I have written 3 ethene molecules. You can write n number of ethene molecules. So what will happen? They just add up to each. So for example, this bond will come here as single bond, and instead of this plus you will get a bond here. Now this will go here, you will get a bond here, and same way this will go here. You will get. So what you will get? This bond, you would have one more ethene molecule this side. So it starts with the bond here. So bond CH2, single bond CH2. And again a single bond CH2, single bond CH2, here instead of plus is C. So it goes on. So the repeating unit is this part or this part. Any part is the repeating unit, and instead of writing this long chain, we are putting n times. So you are taking n number of ethene molecules and you are getting polythene. Here, what is the mode of polymerization? They are simply adding up to each other, which means the monomers are just adding up to each other. So such type of polymers are called as addition polymers. Now the other type, condensation polymer. They are formed by repeated condensation reaction between monomeric units. So when you have two monomers, there will be a condensation reaction, which means there will be loss of small molecules like water, ammonia, HCl, like that. So for example, we are taking the same example, nylon 66 prepared from hexamethylene diamine and adipic acid. Now see, NH2 bond CH2 6 times NH2. This is hexamethylene diamine. COOH, CH2 4 times COOH is adipic acid. So between this NH2 and this COOH, a molecule of water is removed. So condensation takes place. Not only water, it can be ammonia, HCl, any other small molecules. So now this molecule is removed and then they join together to form this polymer. So this polymer, which is formed by the condensation reaction between the monomeric units, is called as condensation polymer. You should note one thing here. Addition polymer, it doesn't mean we should take only one type of monomer. You can take two different type of monomers, as in BuNaS, where we took butadiene and styrene. And even though two different monomers are there, they underwent addition polymerization. So no matter one monomer or two types of monomer, the polymerization can be addition or condensation. So when the monomeric units are joined together by simply adding up, then we call that as addition polymer. When there is a condensation reaction between the monomeric units, we call them as condensation polymers. And that mode of polymerization is called as condensation polymerization, and here it is called as addition polymerization. And now the final way of classifying the polymers, basis of molecular forces. On the basis of molecular forces, we can classify these polymers into 4 types. When we say molecular forces, we are actually talking about the magnitude of intermolecular forces between the polymers. Based on that, we have elastomers, fibers, thermoplastics and thermosetting plastics. First one, elastomers. Polymeric chains in elastomers are held together by the weakest intermolecular forces. Examples are Buna S, Buna N, neoprene. So between these polymeric chains, the force of attraction is the weakest. So due to the presence of very weak intermolecular forces, the elastomers can be stretched. Such polymers consist of randomly coiled polymer chains. When a force is applied, the randomly coiled chains get opened up and the polymer gets stretched. So in order to help the polymer to retract to its original position on the release of the applied force, a few crosslinks are generally introduced between the polymer chains. The unstretched polymer, when a force is applied, stretches and again it retracts to its original position. And the next type of polymers are called as fibers. The polymers consisting of strong intermolecular forces between the polymeric chains are called fibers. When the weakest intermolecular forces are there, we call them as elastomers. When there is the strong intermolecular forces, we call them as fibers. So the forces which hold the polymeric chains together in fibers are strong intermolecular forces such as hydrogen bonding, dipole-dipole interactions, etc. Due to the presence of strong intermolecular forces, fibers possess high tensile strength and also have close packing. So this imparts a crystalline nature to these type of polymers. What type of polymers? The fibers. So that is the reason why fibers have sharp melting points. A very good example of this type of polymer, that is fibers, are nylon 66 and polyesters. The next one is thermoplastics. The polymers in which the intermolecular forces of attraction are intermediary to the elastomers and fibers are called thermoplastics. Thermoplastics are linear polymers with no cross-linking between polymeric chains. As I told you, due to the presence of the moderate intermolecular forces of attraction, which means not very strong, these thermoplastics, they soften on heating. At room temperature, they are quite hard, but on heating, they become soft and viscous, which means they can flow. However, on cooling, they again get hardened. As these polymers can be heated, softened, molded and cooled repeatedly, these type of plastics are reusable. Examples are polythene, PVC and polystyrene. And the last type of polymers based on the molecular forces are called as thermosetting plastics. The polymers which on heating change irreversibly into hard, rigid materials are called thermosetting plastics. So once you heat it, they become hard and rigid, not like thermoplastics. So these thermosetting plastics are not reusable because on heating they become infusible and form an insoluble hard mass. The hardening on heating of these thermosetting polymers is due to the formation of extensive cross-linking between different polymeric chains. This leads to the formation of a three-dimensional network of bonds connecting the polymer chains. So because of that, they become hard. So they are not able to be reused. So we have seen the classification of polymers on 5 different ways. What are the 5 different ways? We'll have a overall view of this classification. We have seen the polymers are classified in 5 different ways. Nature of repeating unit, source of availability, basis of molecular forces, basis of structure and mode of polymerization. Based on the nature of repeating unit, we have 2 types of polymers, homopolymer and copolymer. Based on the mode of polymerization, we have again 2 types of polymers, addition polymer and condensation polymer. Basis of structure, polymers are classified into three types: linear polymers, branched chain polymers, cross-linked polymers. And based on the source of availability, again we have three types: natural polymer, semi-synthetic polymer and synthetic polymer. And finally, based on the molecular forces between the polymers, we have four different types: elastomers, fibers, thermoplastics and thermosetting plastics. And remember, thermoplastics can be reused, thermosetting plastics cannot be reused. They will be set once it is heated. So hope you understood the concept of polymers and what are the different classifications of polymers. Thank you.